I hope you're doing all right. Back in January, when this situation with Corona and all this started, I got to thinking about this and I waited a couple months. I dwelt on it and I made a post on Facebook that got an overwhelming response and was shared everywhere quite a bit. And there were hundreds of comments about how it helped them. So I thought I'd make a video and read it on, maybe put it on YouTube so others could hear it. Maybe it inspired them. A lot of people said it really inspired them and it really helped them. I was kind of shocked that so many people shared it and commented on it. But I'm going to go ahead and read it to you, and hopefully this will help you. It's called The Corona Crown. I held off on this paper for some time now to see how the situation was going to unfold. That time has come to an end, so I will commit to this, maybe shed some light on a current subject of interest. If you're unfamiliar with alchemy, this paper is going to confuse you. I'm not talking about turning literal lead into gold. I am speaking of what alchemy is, the natural process all things go through, a spiritual lesson from which the very base means to a fully realized revelation of what one truly is. In the shortest sense, the old dies and is replaced by a new form infused with spirit. In all my years of study on the topic, I have come to the conclusion, like the ancient Egyptians, prophets of the Bible, Christ himself, to the middle-aged writers, that this is the natural order of God. Exactly which God is a debate raging for thousands of years the philosophers have filled books on. While the language of alchemy has within itself a trap, as well as with names and labels that really mean all the same things, I lean more towards the ancient Kabbalists and Taoists, that God has no name or label, and that is the whole means of alchemy, towards that which cannot be defined but with spirit. Whether it is the God of this world or a heavenly Father or just simply the one, religions aside, all things emanate along set paths that we can name in a general linear process here in this world. While there are many stages throughout the history of alchemy, from 13, 12, 9, 7, and even 4, it is 7 that is the most accepted, and this is a symbol often with a 7-step ladder or 7-pointed star or even a pyramid. Yet one stage has 2 within, so an 8-pointed octagon or double square, quadruple Tao or Dao, cannot be argued against. The 8-pointed star is seen even on countries' flags. This is my whole point. Different labels to confuse the overthinker, all saying the same thing. Thus, for this paper, I will use the more realistic, less esoteric symbol of the Ouroboros from elder time. Alchemy has symbols that appear to run some type of hierarchy in ladders and step pyramids. In truth, there is no ascension, higher ground, elevated degree, or any form of being at the pinnacle within the system of alchemy, because it is truly cyclical in its ways, as above, so below. What comes up comes down again. What is higher is really what there always is, and that is the absolute, the essence of what we really are, as the scripture calls it, the image of God. Those rungs and ladders or steps on the pyramids are merely transient stages we can calculate with our measurement of time. We start with the very basics and needs in life, advance along those stages, and come to puberty, heartbreak, joy, union, death, and a new resolve and wisdom, as the soul binds with the Creator to create that which cannot be named. Most just call this the stone, but it is a new creation, reborn from the ashes of despair, which is its failed ego, the broken emulsified egg. To cut right to the chase and skip a long discourse, I will get to the point. The 7 stages of alchemy are also the 7 chakras of the spiritual body within a person. The very last is called the crown chakra, or Sahasrara, as it is called in India. It resides at the top of the head, and all have felt it. That tingling in your scalp at this deep sense of emotion or even anger. When one beholds a child being born, or a loved one passing on, or a beautiful moonlit night, or a sunrise of the day, this tingle across the head signals the crown chakra being stimulated. It is the full realization of what is and what you are to that, a oneness and security with the Maker, a deep sense of humility and gratitude. All things go through this process. You might even call it an evolution, if you will. But generations and countries follow this pattern as well. Whole societies are in sync, as the great 20th century alchemist Carl Jung wrote so often about. We as a whole go through events that change us and create a universal mindset. As I stated earlier, I have long been convinced this is what God has set as the way for the ruling and order of His creation. Even if you believe it was created by a whole host of beings like a mirror of what is God, it matters not, or as God or that name beyond laid down the foundation of how this swirl of matter, electrons and neutrons flowed to be this that we can see, touch, smell, etc. Another word for crown just so happens to be corona. That is exactly what corona means. It is within the crown chakra where you find out what you are. It is the 1,000 petal lotus and is colored violet, the final color in the rainbow and the highest vibrational frequency of light. Also sometimes mother of pearl or just a rainbow or white. It is not the end, as the Ouroboros has a head and is eating its tail, as all light goes back to the bottom again, violet going back to red. Red is also the color of the root chakra, which we find again our basic needs. When a job is finished, it is crowned, as the last stage of alchemy is the sublimation of all the other stages to, again, show what it was all made of. This is transmutation. You have arrived at that point of realization and wisdom where understanding is found. Christ was crowned at the cross with a crown of thorns to be later crowned with glory as He resurrected from the dead. This death is symbolized in us as the old man dying so the new man can arise, the day star in your heart. Our old ideas and beliefs from the old mind are shattered and laid in a tomb to arise by the grace of God anew with eyes and ears to see and hear. This crown is given to all who seek it through self-sacrifice to see the true self. This is also, as I stated, a societal matter as well, and that time will come when all must face this point. How they face it and what happens to them is between them and God and how much they have sought that. No man knows the day nor the hour. A balanced, healthy crown chakra has signs of peace, stillness, silence, calm, and bliss. The mantra for this chakra is often given as Om, but truly the mantra for this, before there were even labels of religion placed on the process, was silence. One who sits in silence in the woods, at one with the all. They are the birds, the treetop, the roots, the air, the earth, the sun, and the stars, because they are at one with God, who is in all things. They are at peace, and they are at the true service of their fellow humans in earth. They serve the welfare of others, knowing all they have is God's anyway, even their very own life, not in their minds or with their lips, but with their hearts. An unbalanced crown chakra shows signs of anxiety, addiction, materialism, paranoia, delusion, and general hostility associated with narcissism. This one will begin to immediately think of their general needs and themselves over others. Food, clothing, shelter, and basic materials like toilet paper, for very good reasons I will get into, will become an obsession. They are also prone to sexual promiscuity and a displaced sense of self. While both of these stages of the crown chakra is sold off in New Age religions as the final, the end facto of all things, either demon or angel, good or evil, or ascended guru master or black magician, this is just not the case. For nothing is at rest, and God allows the process to continue until the host of that energy expires. Cut down a tree in the forest and watch the shoots of new leaves spring from the roots. If you doubt this, life goes on. Thus this crown descends once again to the root chakra, where it is at the tailbone. This is the cannot save your ass and face at the same time type of thing. Only now the energy has gone through the whole series of stages, and it is not the same state as it was from the former time. It has went through a process. How fast it goes from the crown chakra to the root is in the strictest sense on an individual basis a length of days, 52 days. However, the soul may just well descend almost instantly in an attempt to flee or hide from reality. Food, sex, concerns of the basics may be so overwhelming, the soul must go back to the basis of security to manage through or hide from what is going on. Hygiene and appearances matter more because this is the very core of ego and security. It is comfortable. Sit a baby in a dirty diaper long enough and you will see this. They get comfortable. The soul that does not want to gain spirit, no matter how much the mind and mouth speak it, will fixate on the base needs of life. Hoarding becomes a necessity because the thing that is fleeing is death and what lies thereafter. It was unable to gain the eyes and ears at the crown to see because the stages before it were so out of balance. This, I do believe, is the wide road we now stand at. I was very puzzled at why everyone started hoarding toilet paper and hygiene products that have absolutely nothing to do with flu survival. I sensed right away this is completely root chakra, what is called the Muladhara chakra. It is red in color and unbalanced. It gives way to material disorders from overeating, oversexing, and depression. It is what grounds you, and improperly grounded, one becomes selfish and takes more from the earth than is needed because they do not feel connected to the earth. They become insecure and must have that hole filled with outside substance. This is the very foundation where one reaches out to their Creator for that seed, or they reach out to their carnal desires for that which eventually turns to dust and is flushed down the proverbial drain of time. So it is in my opinion that as a whole in society, this crown stage is upon us so we can see what we really are made of under the eye of providence. Why I have found it so very ironic that the name Corona has been named for this threat to our security. Some are handling it well, others are not. All that is belongs to that which created it, and it is the Creator that laid out all for us to grow and be. The example of Christ holds so many lessons in what I'm referring to that can be applied to our very own lives now. The rich turned him over to the powers of this world for reasons that really did not matter in the end. Yet to kill hope and faith in God was the goal, and turn society toward them who have worldly power. Unbalanced crown chakra to put that much faith in this world. Yet in the end a rose bloomed from the stone, this red rose that was sweet and secure, back to the root of the earth, out of the earth, and into the hearts of men. Such is our time, such is our choice, while we still have yet time. Or we can go back down in search of the I am this or I am that to reinforce the ego only to be crushed yet again. What we truly are cannot be defined, and that is what the crown is all about.